What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another banger video. This time we're looking at My New York Diary by Julie Doucet. I had realized that on this channel we hadn't looked at any autobiographical comics yet. And I just thought that this would be a great place to start. This is a graphic novel I read last year for the first time. It was originally published in 1999. And it's just stories from Julie's life. So some of these take place in the 80s, some of them in the early 90s, and they were just drawn later on. But it has stories from her in school. You know, she grew up in Montreal and then later moved to New York, and that's where the bulk of this book takes place. You see, this is all before she moves to New York. And it's talks about her roommates, talks about her friends that she had growing up, talks about boyfriends, about drinking, about experimenting with drugs. There's a lot of whippets in this book. And you'll notice one of the identifiable factors of her art, something you'll notice in everything she draws, there's so much detail, there's so much clutter. No one does clutter like she does. And also, there's a lot of use of, you know, the black ink. You know, you'll see like shading on people's faces. You know, that you don't really see in other people's art. It's a very identifiable trait to her art. You can recognize it right away. I also really like her hand lettering throughout the book. She hand letters everything, all the captions and the word balloons. And I think it just adds some personality to it, makes it more personal when you see the artists and authors' actual handwriting in the book. She talks about funny teachers she had in art school. Probably my favorite part of this book is seeing her at school and seeing her work on her art. This is during a time when she's making comics, so you can kind of see her process. She's drawing in the comic her process for making comics, and that's fun to see, you know, as an artist. Also, if you've ever had experience going to college or specifically going to art school, some of these stories hit pretty close to home. This is her working the night before, trying to make a project that she's had weeks to do, but has waited till the night before to actually, you know, start working on. So, you know, I think some of that is very relatable. And then this is where the New York Diary starts. So she moves away. She gets this boyfriend who she moves in with, and he's unnamed throughout the book. I don't think they ever say his name, and it's probably a good thing because he's not represented in such a good light throughout this book. He's very selfish and insecure and jealous. You know, this is takes place around the time that Julie Doucet was working on her series Dirty Plot, and he's jealous of the success that's garnering throughout the story. And they live in Upper Manhattan in this, just no other way to say it, gross apartment. It's just filled with trash, and she draws like roaches and all this garbage. And of course, here's the whip it part. And I'm trying to skip over the more explicit parts of this book. She does draw some sex scenes that go on throughout the book, but you know, YouTube doesn't like those, so try and cut around that. Eventually, she comes to the conclusion that she has to move out. She can't keep living with this guy. And she starts secretly looking for a new apartment further south, in more of the city in Manhattan. So she's looking for this apartment in secret. Eventually, her boyfriend figures it out, and there's this big confrontation in the subway. And the reason she didn't tell him is because she knew he would take it badly, and he does. And he makes a big scene, and it's just further shows how insecure and selfish that this guy is. It's very telling that she doesn't mention his name. And at the end of the book, she decides that she's going to move to Seattle because New York is just too big for her. So that's how the book comes to a conclusion. And if you're interested in autobiographical comics, this is a great place to start. I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. I'll see you there.